There is a truth about building wealth, a truth so simple it terrifies most, and so profound it liberates the few who dare to face it. Wealth is not born of circumstance. It is not handed down by the benevolence of the world. It is not reserved for those with perfect timing or flawless luck. Wealth is built, forged in the furnace of the mind long before it ever manifests in the vaults of the world. It is the external reflection of an internal state, one that begins with the raw, unshakable decision to create. And the greatest tragedy is this: most will never choose it, not because they can't, but because they never believed they could. The battlefield is not Wall Street or Silicon Valley. It is not the marketplace or the boardroom. The real battlefield is the 6 inches between your ears. And until you master that territory, no strategy, no tactic, no hack or hustle will ever deliver true sustainable wealth. This is the truth about building wealth. And today you will see it fully, clearly, and without the fog of illusion. So listen closely, not just with your mind, but with the part of you that knows it was made for more. Because once you hear this, there is no going back. In the early days of industry, men like Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, and Thomas Edison built empires that outlasted lifetimes. Yet few understood that their wealth was not the product of steel or automobiles or light bulbs. Their wealth was the product of a belief system, a set of mental principles so ironclad that no economic storm could shake them. Carnegie once said, "Think of yourself as on the threshold of unparalleled success. A whole, clear, glorious life lies before you. Achieve, achieve." The modern mind hears this and doubts. It asks, "But what about the obstacles? What about the risks? What if I'm not enough?" And that, my friend, is precisely why wealth eludes so many. Because wealth is allergic to doubt. It repels uncertainty. It withers in the presence of small thinking. You must understand, before wealth can live in your hands, it must first live in your mind. This is why Napoleon Hill wrote, "Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve." Belief is not some vague notion of hope. Belief is a decision, one made in the silence of the soul, long before the world believes with you. Do you believe? Not casually, not when it's convenient, but with the burning conviction of one who has already seen the promised land, because if you do not, wealth will always remain a distant horizon you will never reach. Now, belief alone is not enough. Many believe, yet wander aimlessly, hoping that wealth will somehow arrive like a ship out of the fog. But ships do not come to those who have not built a harbor. You must have clarity. Consider Walt Disney. Long before Disneyland became a global empire, Disney walked through empty orange groves in California, eyes alight with imagination. He saw not dirt and trees, but castles, parades, and a world of magic yet unborn. When asked how he dared to dream so vividly, he said simply, "If you can dream it, you can do it." That is clarity, not vague hopes, but a vision so sharp it pulls you forward. Without clarity, effort is wasted. Without clarity, your energy is scattered. Without clarity, the universe does not know where to conspire on your behalf. What do you see? Not what do you wish. What do you see? Close your eyes and imagine the life of wealth you desire. Not just numbers in a bank account, but the experiences, the freedom, the contribution. See it in vivid color. Hear the sounds, smell the air, because the mind will move toward what it can clearly imagine. Ambiguity is the enemy of action. When your vision is sharp, the path will reveal itself, one step at a time. And when that happens, you must be ready to walk it. Vision fuels action, but purpose fuels persistence. The truth is the path to wealth is long. It is not a sprint. It is a marathon run through storms, setbacks, and seasons of unseen labor. Without purpose, you will not last. Look again to the giants of history. Carnegie built steel empires not for steel's sake, but to prove that men could rise beyond their origins. Ford revolutionized transportation not for profit alone, but to bring mobility to the masses. Disney built a kingdom of imagination to light a spark of wonder in every human heart. Purpose transcends profit. When you are driven by purpose, Setbacks become lessons, failures become fuel, and fatigue becomes a badge of honor, not an excuse for surrender. Ask yourself, why do I seek wealth? If the answer is shallow, so too will be your persistence. But if your purpose is rooted deep in the soil of your values, no storm will uproot you. This is the difference between those who dabble in wealth and those who build legacies. Purpose is the fire, and without it, the cold winds of adversity will extinguish your flame. Now we come to the forge of all dreams, discipline. Here is the brutal truth. Most people will never build wealth because they will not submit themselves to disciplined, consistent action over time. They crave excitement, they seek shortcuts, they chase the dopamine of quick wins. But wealth is built in the trenches, not in bursts of inspiration, but in the relentless execution of fundamentals. Study the habits of any self-made millionaire, and you will find one thing in common. Iron discipline. They rise early, they control their time, they master their craft, they honor their commitments. J.P. Morgan once said, "The first step toward getting somewhere is to decide you're not going to stay where you are." Discipline is that decision, repeated daily. It is waking when you do not feel like it. It is studying when others sleep. It is saving when others spend. It is investing when others consume. It is showing up, day after day, year after year, long after the initial spark has faded. Discipline is the bridge between vision and reality. Without it, even the grandest dreams remain castles in the air. But with it, mountains move, doors open, and the impossible becomes inevitable. Gratitude and expansion. But discipline alone will harden you if left untempered. You see, in the pursuit of wealth, there is a dangerous trap. The trap of becoming a machine, grinding endlessly, measuring only the numbers, forgetting the reason. For the journey, this is where gratitude breathes life back into the process. Gratitude is not weakness, it is not complacency, it is fuel, a force multiplier of abundance. Study those who rise and rise again, and you will find this. They carry a spirit of gratitude, even in the harshest of seasons. Carnegie, in his later years, dedicated his fortune to philanthropy, often saying that wealth unshared was poverty of the soul. Why? Because he understood. The more grateful you are, the more life gives you to be grateful for. It is not metaphysics, it is mental conditioning. A mind steeped in gratitude cannot dwell in scarcity. It cannot harbor bitterness. It expands. It seeks opportunity. It attracts allies. When you are grateful, truly, viscerally grateful, your perspective shifts. You do not see the grind as suffering. You see it as privilege. You do not resent the work. You honor it. You do not curse the competition. You thank them, for they sharpen you. Gratitude enlarges the vessel of your life, and the universe pours more into vessels that are prepared to receive. Each morning, ask yourself, what am I profoundly grateful for today? And let that gratitude charge your discipline with a deeper sense of joy, adaptability, and flow. Now hear me clearly, because this is where many stumble. The path to wealth is not linear. It twists, it turns, it collapses and reforms, and those who cling rigidly to their plans will break where they could have bent. Adaptability is not optional. It is vital. Napoleon Hill wrote extensively about temporary defeat, not as failure, but as nature's way of demanding refinement. Edison failed 10,000 times before perfecting the light bulb. Ford faced bankruptcy twice. Disney was told countless times that a theme park for children would never succeed. But what separated them from the masses was this. They adapted. They evolved. They learned. They did not abandon their vision, but they constantly refined their approach. Wealth is a river, not a staircase. You must learn to flow. When a door closes, do not waste your life pounding on it. Look for the next door, or build one with your own hands. Flexibility of mind breeds durability of fortune. Remember this truth: the rigid shatter, the adaptable endure, resilience and persistence. And now we come to the crucible, the place where most dreams die. Resilience. You will be tested. You will be doubted. You will be ignored, mocked, betrayed, exhausted. The universe will demand that You prove how badly you want this, and here is where the masses fall away. But those who are destined for wealth, they rise again. Hill called this the persistence of purpose. Others call it grit, tenacity, will. Whatever name you choose, it is the defining trait of all wealth builders. When Ford's engineers told him the V8 engine was impossible, he said simply, "Produce it anyway." And they did. When Disney was bankrupt, sleeping on studio floors, he drew Mickey Mouse by candlelight, and the empire began. When Lincoln lost election after election, he kept going, until the presidency became his. Resilience is not about avoiding the fall. It is about rising faster than life can knock you down. And know this, each time you rise, you become more than you were. Each scar becomes a source of strength. Each setback, a forge for your soul. The world rewards the resilient because it knows they will not squander the treasure they earn. Ask yourself now, am I willing to endure what others will not? To have what others cannot? Answer honestly, because your resilience will be tested again and again. Learning and mastery. There is one more truth few dare to face. Wealth favors masters, not dabblers. The world is flooded with those who skim the surface, who seek shortcuts, hacks, gimmicks. But the deepest rewards lie beneath the surface, and only those committed to lifelong learning will reach them. Carnegie surrounded himself with a mastermind group because he knew one man's knowledge is finite. The collective knowledge of those committed to growth is infinite. Ford read voraciously. Disney studied storytelling obsessively. Hill himself spent a lifetime researching and refining principles of success. And in this modern age of distractions, this truth remains unchanged. If you stop learning, you start decaying. The market evolves. Technology shifts. Consumer values transform. You must become a perpetual student of wealth, of psychology, of innovation, of leadership, of self. Every book you read is a seed. Every mentor you seek is a bridge. Every failure you analyze is a tuition fee, paid in advance for future wisdom. Do not fear ignorance. Fear the comfort that leads to ignorance. For when you commit to mastery, wealth begins to chase you, not the other way around. Conclusion, the truth fully revealed. And now we arrive at the heart of it all. This is the truth about building wealth. It is not given, it is earned. It is not luck, it is discipline. It is not for the chosen few, it is for the few who choose. It is forged in belief, sharpened by clarity, driven by purpose, built through relentless discipline, expanded by gratitude, sustained through adaptability, hardened by resilience, and elevated through lifelong learning. Look to the giants of history, and you will see this pattern again and again. Not once. Not sometimes, always. And here is your choice. You can listen to this, nod your head and return to the drift of the masses. Or you can make the decision, here, now, today, to become one of the few. The path will not be easy, but it will be worth it. Because true wealth is not just the money you earn, it is the person you become. And as you walk this path, remember, you are not building numbers in a bank account. You are building a life, a legacy, a story that will echo long after the dollars have faded. So rise, decide, act. And when the world looks upon you one day and says, they were one of the fortunate few, you will know the truth. Fortune did not choose you, you chose it, and you chose to become the person worthy of it. Now go and build it.